Hello and happy Friday. Dr. Leona here, and welcome to Friday Night Live. I guess we'll call it that for now. But we're going to get really deep into intermittent fasting again. We're going to bust some myths, clear up some confusion. But before I get into that, I'm going to give some people some time to get their notifications and chime in. And welcome for those who are already with me live or going to watch the replay. I welcome you as well. But for those who are live with me tonight, please chime in, share some of your comments and questions, and just let me know what you think of everything, as that's why I'm doing this, so I can actually engage with you and just really answer a lot of your health questions about how you can achieve better metabolism, lose weight, keep it off, have more energy, feel younger, look younger, all that. So we're going to go ahead and chime in and jump right into this information. I got a lot to share, but I just want to keep these lives short and sweet. I keep them at about 30 minutes or so, and I always say that and I end up going an hour. But the purpose of these lives is to answer questions, and I try my best to keep it on one topic. And that way I'm not talking about several different things and I'm on, here for several hours. So I get a lot of questions about intermittent fasting, especially after last week where I talked about intermittent fasting for weight loss. And I appreciate everybody's participation, the comments. That's what I love. I love the engagement. So I really encourage you to do that, because that's what encourages me to show up again to answer follow-up questions based on that. And a lot of the people that responded to that are already intermittent fasting and have gotten some amazing results. But then I get the people that have heard about it, haven't tried it, and they got some reservations. They're not quite sure how it works or if it's the right thing. And again, my disclaimer, if you have some chronic health issues and you feel that it's not the right thing, you can go ahead and trust that. And you may have to get checked by, get closer by a physician or a doctor or a health coach or something like that to make sure you're supported in this journey. But like I said, this is more for general information, to answer a lot of questions, to see if it's something to consider. Because that's why I'm here, to give people information, because it's very confusing. And my purpose isn't to tell you everything and all the science behind it, even though sometimes I get on my tangents. But really, the purpose is to eliminate some of the confusion by giving you some facts and common sense so that you can understand what's right and what's not. So when you get a good foundation of the truth, then it's a lot easier to figure out what those lies are. Okay? So I got a few people in the room, and again, if there's any problem with the sound or anything like that, let me know. Otherwise, I am going to keep on going. So today's topic, or tonight's topic, are some of the top 3 myths about intermittent fasting. And sometimes this is for the person, when I talk about intermittent fasting or recommend it, these are some of the myths or confusion, or not lies, but it's just a little confusion. It's just not clear for some people because they think that it's some of these things that I'm going to discuss. So I'm going to go ahead to myth number 1. And what a lot of people believe is that intermittent fasting slows down metabolism. And I understand that. And I think what people get that from is when they start reducing calories or watching their calories, that it reduces metabolism or slows down metabolism. And part of that is true, but intermittent fasting is not calorie restriction. What intermittent fasting is that window when you eat. So if you didn't see last Friday's live, I recommend you go ahead and check it out, okay? Because it talks about what intermittent fasting is and what it isn't. Intermittent fasting is that cycle of when you eat and when you don't eat. So if you're that person that eats at 8 o'clock and then a snack 2 hours later and then eats again and then snack and eats again, you're pretty much eating consistently during your waking hours. But intermittent fasting, I'll just give you a quick week recap on that, is the period that you don't eat. So if you have a 24-hour day and you eat between 12 and 6, that is the window when you eat. and the other 18 hours, is that right? 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, yeah, other 18 hours is when you're actually fasting or not eating. Okay, so that's considered a 18-6 intermittent fasting cycle. So some people will do 12 and 12, some do 16-8. So there's different ways you can do that, and there's a lot of flexibility to that. But I'm not going to get into that much tonight. So be sure to check out last Friday's intermittent, last week's live, and then you will get some questions answered about that. Okay. So it doesn't slow down your metabolism. And I won't get too sciencey, I promise. That's one of my habits. I love to talk about science. But it's like one of those things that when you're intermittent fasting, and I know it from personal experience and I know it from clinical experience because I help a lot of my clients. I coach them through it. And I have found that the majority of them, when they do it correctly and do it consistently, it has actually helped them speed up their metabolism. Because when your metabolism is corrected or when it's healthy, then you're able to lose the weight and keep it off. So I've seen the opposite. And a lot of people that feel like that's the truth or feel like that it slows down their metabolism, they've either been doing it incorrectly or they haven't been doing it long enough. So when you have these concerns and questions, really think about where it's coming from, because a lot of these things that don't really support intermittent fasting usually come from people that never really tried it or didn't do it correctly, or they did it on their own without anyone really explaining to them the purpose of intermittent fasting. Because I know last week I said intermittent fasting for weight loss, but if you listen to the whole thing, you understand that the late weight loss is a side effect of intermittent fasting correctly. So you got to have the right reasons for intermittent fasting. For me, it's a part of health. I do it because I enjoy doing it. I do it because it's been very effective. I did it, yes, to lose the weight, but I still do it to maintain the weight loss and maintain my energy levels. And when you find that as you get healthy and as you incorporate intermittent fasting, you'll find that you don't need to eat constantly. And a lot of that is conditioned in us since we were young. We're awarded with snack. We're awarded with food. We use food to comfort us. So what happens is we're constantly eating and eating, where the energy is going towards breaking down the food, and it doesn't have time to convert it to energy or to healing. So when you're eating constantly, your body's constantly working, but it's not given time to rest and burn fat and heal. So these are all metabolic processes. That's why I love that word, because when you understand what metabolism is and the true meaning, then you make that your goal. Because the purpose of eating is to nourish your body. The purpose of eating is to get the proteins and fats and carbs so your body can convert it to energy so you can function or metabolize. And burning fat is a metabolic process. Healing is a metabolic process. So everything our bodies go through is metabolic. So if you're concerned that fasting will slow down your metabolism, I've seen that to not be true with, like I said, experience. And like I have more energy, and a lot of my clients have a more energy when they are fasting, because they find that sometimes when you eat, especially if you eat the wrong things, because that's a sign. If you're eating something and you feel tired and sluggish, you didn't eat the right things. Your metabolism has shut down because of something you ate. So you really got to learn to pay attention to how you feel after you eat. But after you eat, the purpose of eating is to have more energy. And another thing, before I go into the next myth about metabolism, because one thing you got to understand, when I am really analyzing the health of somebody, I like to see how they feel when they skip meals. So if you're hangry, irritable, headachy, tired, all these different things in between meals, that is considered a metabolic issue. But what's happening is we're confusing that with symptoms of hunger. We think it's hunger, where your body is just really not operating correctly. Okay. So really think about that and let me know how you feel between meals, because that could be a sign of your health status. All right. And people don't talk about that enough. Maybe that could be my next live. All my lives are based on your questions, your comments, and all that good stuff. So I encourage you to let me know your thoughts and questions, and that will be answered in future events. Okay. So that is myth number one, that intermittent fasting slows down your metabolism. I have seen the complete opposite. It has created more energy. It has helped people burn fat. It has helped people lose weight and keep it off, and other things as well, not just weight loss. It's helped maintain blood sugar levels. It's helped people with sleep, you name it. Oh my goodness, it's just incredible. So it does boost your metabolism. It becomes more efficient actually when you incorporate intermittent fasting. All right. Ready to move on to number two. So myth number two is you can eat anything during the eating window. All right. And I have seen this over and over again when people start intermittent fasting. They'll intermittent fast and then they'll eat fast food or they'll eat whatever during that window. Now I'll be honest with you. When you do that, you do see some benefit, right? Because you're not eating constantly. So even when I'm working with clients, I tell them don't snack, because they're eating less. Because again, not less, but less often. And that's another thing I want to mention. Intermittent fasting is like in my one meal, I eat pretty much what some people eat in 3 meals, right? So it's about eating less often, not about eating less, because I eat very well, okay? So it's not starvation or anything like that. But let me get back to this myth here. So eating anything you want during the window. A lot of people start off that way because again, we want to make baby steps. So as you get used to not eating often or not eating every 2 hours or 3 hours or whatever that is, then you can start improving what you eat, because it is a process. Because that's another area where a lot of people are confused. It's like, what do I eat? Some people say this is healthy, some people say that is healthy, some people eat this, not that. I get it. But the thing is, as you start to evolve, it's a process. Okay. It's about progress, not perfection. So as you start to evolve and learn, then you incorporate these better eating habits. Because I made those mistakes too. I thought I was doing good, but as I continued to learn and grow, I eliminated a lot of things. Okay. So really, it's about progress, and start to first eliminate the obvious. Because when most of us snack, a lot of us aren't snacking on salad and vegetables. Most of us are snacking on chips and candy and ice cream and all those things that aren't healthy for us. So let's start with not snacking, and then start to increase our window where we are not eating, and then have that window where we do eat, whether it's a 4, 6, or 8 hour window. I talked about that last week, how you gradually get into that, because a lot of us may have that one size fits all, and our body's not ready for that. Okay. So really start gradually, and then take baby steps until you hit that routine that works for you. Because there's no one size fits all. You have to find what works for you. I don't even have a lot of my clients do what I do. I've been doing this for a very long time, and we have to learn to take step by steps and learn to listen to our body. That is key. All right. So when you start to eat in that window, learn, okay? Get rid of the obvious, get rid of all the sugars, get rid of all the things that I know isn't good for you. All right. Start to prepare more of your meals at home. Start to eat more whole foods. Like a lot of people like to say, eating those foods in the perimeter of the grocery store. Don't worry about, well, we're organic and all that yet. Just because what happens is when you get overwhelmed, you start to get paralysis by analysis. You worry about so much that you end up doing nothing at all. But trust me, those small changes go a long, long way. So that's really to encourage you, because I know sometimes when we don't know what to do, we do nothing at all. But do what you know how to do. Okay. One of my lights just went out. I don't know why that happens. But anyway, you can still see me. But just understand that we have to start somewhere, because sometimes a lot of our problem is we don't start because we're confused. And that's the purpose of these conversations I'm having with you every week, is to get you motivated and start somewhere. Okay, you got that? So it is important that you eat the right things. I mean, because I've seen people do, oh my goodness. I mean, I'll see it online, I'll see it on Instagram, what people are eating during those breaks, and they have all the muscles and all that stuff. And you think, oh, wow, they're doing it. I could do it too. But it does matter what you eat. It really does. It is so important that you put the right foods in your body, because that's what it needs to heal. That's what it needs to give you the energy you need so your body can function on a daily basis. Got it? You got it? Is that clear? So if you need me to elaborate on anything, so for those of you that just came in, we're talking about busting some intermittent fasting myths. For some of you that are just kind of like, I'm not sure about this intermittent fasting thing. I heard this and I heard that. So, just a quick recap. Myth number one is that it slows down your metabolism. That's not true. And myth number two, which I just covered, is that you can eat anything you want during your eating window. And no, what you eat is important. Okay. Eat to live, right? And the third one, okay? And let's see, what's the third one? Because I had several. I had like six, but I don't want to keep these too long and I don't want to overwhelm anyone. But these are the ones I hear about the most. And this one's actually my favorite, because this comes up a lot. Because again, when I talk about intermittent fasting and I tell people that I eat one meal a day, or I'll go a couple days without eating and things like that. It's all a purpose to everything I do. I'm not going to talk about long-term fasting in this episode, but fasting is a huge part of my life. Fasting is a huge part of my coaching programs. It is powerful. I mean, personal stories about what fasting has done for me. Because I started off with intermittent fasting because I was 70 pounds overweight, because I was pre diabetic, I had fatty liver disease. So intermittent fasting played a huge role. And yeah, it was the weight loss that got my attention. I was like, okay, I'm finally losing some weight, because I had hit a plateau. So it's very good for that when you do it correctly. But it got deeper into the actual healing that was happening in my body. And then I was able to test fasting. Oh goodness, I think it was in 2021. I had shingles, and it was a combination of intermittent fasting and long-term fasting that eliminated my shingles in 4 days. Because a lot of people will get shingles and they'll have shingles for about 8 weeks, I heard. But because of my fasting and my consistency and what I know that I know, and I understand my body, fasting was a huge way to speed up the healing process. Because as a busy mom, a busy doctor running a practice, well, I was like, I don't have time for this. And it was on my face. One day I might do a story on that, because it was on my face. It looked so bad. But I was like, I can't be like this, not right now. So I started doing the fasting techniques, and it got rid of my shingles in 4 days. So it's pretty miraculous what fasting can do. And that's probably one of my most amazing miracles, with fasting. And I've heard so many other stories as well, clinically and in my office. But for me, besides, the losing weight and reversing my prediabetes, fasting for, shingles was very powerful. Now, a lot of people be like, okay, when I get shingles, I'm fasting. Again, it's disclaimer, because some of you know me and work with me and have been supervised by me, but some of you who are just chiming in and listening, you know I'm just saying, just get the education. But a lot of this health stuff, you need to just, if you don't understand your body, get the help you need. Okay. And if you want to learn more, I have my contact information on this YouTube page, on my Facebook page. Reach out, schedule a breakthrough call, and get the help you need. Because some of you are trying to do this on your own. And if you don't know what you're doing, you can, do more harm than good. But I just want to let you know how fasting is powerful when it is used correctly. Got it? So I'm there going with my tangent again. But let's talk about myth number 3, if I started that or not. But this one is important. I just wanted to share a personal story, that's all. But myth number 3 is that fasting is the same or it's confused with starvation. No, it is not. Because I know sometimes when people miss meals, they feel guilty or they think they're starving. And I don't like when people do that. When they say they're hungry or they want ready to eat something, oh, starving. I don't like that word. That's a strong word because the thing about the big difference between intermittent fasting and starvation is that intermittent fasting is intentional. What intermittent fasting is a cycle of eating that you decide to do. All right. You choose the intermittent fast, where starvation is, it is not. Okay. Fasting is not, I mean, starvation is not planned, and by the time you starve for weeks or months, yes, your body can be depleted, but in intermittent fasting you are still eating. You're not going months and months because it's out of your control. You are still under control with intermittent fasting. So number one, that is the huge difference. So sometimes if you feel like, oh, I skipped lunch, I'm in trouble. No, I have not heard anyone have any kind of detrimental effects to missing a meal here and there. With you, when you learn to really be more mindful of intermittent fasting, it's actually very liberating because I use it during my work schedule. My hours of fasting are different every day. It depends on my work schedule. It depends on if I have coaching calls throughout the day, even with traveling. Because especially with traveling, I love intermittent fasting with traveling because, when you're on the road, whether you're driving or flying, the choices of food is not that great. You got that food court, and that food is horrible most of the time. And I choose, instead of worrying about finding healthier choices, I'll choose just to intermittent fast until I get to my destination. And also with intermittent fasting, the food tastes so much better. It's like your taste buds are healed and you just enjoy the food more when you're eating. So really consider those things. It's like as I've been doing this for a while, I've learned so many other benefits of intermittent fasting. It gives you more freedom, it gives you more flexibility. You don't have to worry about what to eat for breakfast and packing a lunch and traveling and having your snack bag and all that stuff. When you learn to just delay your meals or eat in a different window, you can eat at 3 o'clock. You don't have to eat at 8, 12, and 6. You can eat whenever you want. Just understand when it works for you. My favorite window is between about 2 to 5, 2 to 3, somewhere in there. That works the best for my body. So you got to find what works for you. Some of my clients love to eat in the morning, and some of them like to eat in the evening, but you just try what works. And if some days you got some plans or something in the evening, you might have to do it earlier. You could be flexible. Remember that. So that's the difference between intermittent fasting and starvation. Okay? Because and again, intermittent fasting is controlled, where starvation is more involuntary. All right. The people that are starving aren't choosing to, and they have no idea when their next meal is going to happen. Where intermittent fasting, you do. Okay. And I also talked about that last week as well. How to benefit, the benefits of fasting and some of the how it's flexible and how to start. Okay, because all of us fast when we're sleeping. That's easy, right? But we got to understand how to do it when we're awake and use it as a tool and do it with the right reasons. Because if we do it even though it's powerful for weight loss and you do it just for weight loss and you find that you don't lose weight in the first week or so when you do it, what happens is you quit. You decide to give up. And what happens is you're not giving your body a chance to experience the other benefits because our bodies have to heal first. All right. We got to learn how to give our body time to heal, and everybody's different. Somebody could intermittent fast and the first day they'll experience results. Somebody else might need to do it for at least 3 or 4 days or longer. But the thing is, just do it, because if you're doing it just for weight loss, you're not enjoying the other benefits. You're not enjoying better sleep. These are some of the things I hear. You're not enjoying more energy. You're not enjoying the benefits with improved digestion, or even with the women over 40. I find that with intermittent fasting, you have less occurrence of the hot flashes and the night sweats. Oh my goodness, a better mood. I mean, it's so many benefits. So just focus on the feeling, focus on healing from the inside and giving your body time. Because, like I said, I talk to a broad range of people. A lot of you are listening to me. Some of you I don't know. Some of you may be on meds. Some of you may have some real chronic conditions. So you got to understand that this is a tool. It's not just intermittent fasting and you do nothing else. Again, you got to understand how it works, how it actually heals the body, how it gives your body a chance to tap into those glycogen stores, and how it actually starts the metabolic process where it starts to burn fat for energy. Okay, that is the key. So, like I said, I didn't want to go too deep into the science. What I might do is do it as a pre-recorded video, because what happens is I can share some like visuals and slides to help really explain. Because I know I got some cool nerds out there that want to understand what happens when you're in your body when you're not eating. I actually got that request, and that's one of those topics where I have to do a more of a prepared video on that, because it is fascinating, and I might have to show some visuals for that. So go ahead and subscribe, and you'll be notified when that comes up. But that's going to be a good video if you understand what's going on in your body when you're not eating. Because a lot of us focus so much on, what do I eat, Dr. Leona, to lose weight? What do I eat? What do I eat? But sometimes your body may just need a break. You may need to just fast intermittently to start to see some results. And that's liberating as well, when you don't have to worry about, oh my gosh, I got to eat breakfast, I got to eat lunch, what do I eat for snack? You don't have to worry about that. Okay. So a little quiet in the chat today, but I know I'll get a lot later. I know a lot of people do watch the replay. It's a Friday night. I know people got things going on, but I do appreciate those who are in. I see some, no, I can't see who's here, but I do see that people are joining me live. So what else did I want to say? There was a couple other things that I wanted to say, but in the meantime, I do have an announcement real quick. Maybe I'll remember what I was going to say. But on Sunday, I'll show this real quick. There's the banner there. Couple of announcements before I close, because we're at the 30-minute mark. If you want to learn more, I have like a 2-hour masterclass that I'm doing on Sunday. So to register, you can go to Metabolic Mastery Live. It is a free training, and I go into a lot more detail about how to heal over 40 and how to reset our metabolism and burn fat and get healthy and just have overall better energy. Okay. We want to optimize how our bodies are functioning. And I love working with women over 40, because we've gone through a lot in our bodies. A lot of us have had children, we've had surgeries, we've had so many things happen in our lives, and we're tired, and we're not being told how we can restore our bodies. We're told to live with it, you're just getting older. So I created this metabolic mastery masterclass to answer a lot of those questions, and really what's happening underneath the surface and how we can begin to reverse it. All right, I'm in my 50s, and it is possible. A lot of my health issues did happen in my late 30s to early 40s, and I want to share with you what is possible, whether you're in your 40s and 50s and beyond. I'm very passionate about this. I love coaching women. And I do help men as well, into giving them the strategies of what it takes to give their bodies what it needs to heal. And I love sharing that. So go to metabolicmasterylive.com. I also put it in the description so you can click on that and join me this Sunday at 3 p.m. And this is about a 90-minute masterclass. I go in a lot more detail about some core topics. that will help you with your health and your life. So if you can join me, love to have you. Again, it's this Sunday, let's see, look at my calendar here, the 28th. And it's one of my most requested master classes. And I actually do it quite a few times a month because it's always requested. So go ahead and check that out. I'll go ahead and leave that running at the bottom of the screen. And also, I will put it in the description box for those who are watching the replay. And that's about it. Okay. I'm at the 30-minute mark. Like I said, I like to keep these short and sweet, but a quick recap before I go. So we talked about three intermittent fasting myths. The first one was intermittent fasting slows down your metabolism. Not true. Number two, you can eat anything you want during that window. No, what you eat matters. And myth number three, intermittent fasting is starvation. No, it's not. Two completely different things. All right. One is harmful, the other one is not. All right. So if you missed the beginning, you can rewind or go back and catch me at the beginning. But thanks again for joining me this evening. I'll let you get back to your families or whatever you do on Fridays. And I hope everybody had a good week. I will see you next week at 7 o'clock. Submit your questions. Let me know what you think about this episode. Share your questions. I will use it in a future live. Thank you for joining me. And until next time, go out there and achieve more freedom in your health and your life. Good night and take care. And I'll see y'all next time.